Ciao, guys. How's it going? What's going on? We're finally back with a new episode of TMG Podcast. It's been like 3.5 weeks since our last one. Sorry about that. I've been really busy. School starting back up again, university, and things get busy. But here we are again on a Tuesday afternoon, 12:30 p.m. here in Canada and in New York. I'm here with a very special guest today. You definitely know him because he writes a lot of cultural related articles, and of course he's a Milanista. Matt Santangelo. Matt, thanks for coming on. How's it going, buddy?
Luca, thanks for having me on, man. What's going on?
Of course, it's always a pleasure. We have tons to talk about today, and as we know as Milanisti, it's never a dull moment in the Milan world. Um, even on off days, even on off days, there's stories to talk about, and I thought it was a good time to have a podcast today, because of the very disappointing loss on Sunday against Sampdoria, and also just the whole situation with Montella. I really wanted to talk about that and just put some perspective in it. So let's talk about that loss against Sampdoria. Matt, you made the 6:30 a.m. wake up like I did on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I was got some coffee. I was kind of getting ready to go, and then from the opening whistle, it was kind of very disappointing to say the least. And I think that's Milan have had their issues with those early games. For at least for me on the East Coast and the United States, that 6:30 time slot always tended to be an issue for Milan. But
Yeah.
most of the time, we blamed it on the banter era and all the
hmm
players that they had. But when you have as much talent as they do now, you expect a better performance, especially when you're going to wake up early to watch them. But it just didn't happen.
No, yeah, we even last year too. We just don't do well with lunchtime kickoffs. I don't know what it is. I remember we lost
The lunchtime.
the lunchtime
There's still
kickoffs.
like honestly, man. There's still it's just like it's like happy hour. They go out for drinks. They come
Yeah,
back late to
yeah,
work,
you're
and all of
right.
a
You're right.
sudden it's
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. And then so just it's just so hard to explain because we had nothing in that. Like it just seemed like we weren't able to generate much. Just offensively, we didn't get a shot on target all game. Um, uh, with Suzo as like a second striker behind Kalinic, and we've seen now that Suzo can't play as a second striker. He's not as effective. He's playing. He needs to play in a wide role, and I wrote that in my article for a Time Football Daily yesterday. And Montella needs to play him in a wide role if he wants to be effective. And him playing behind Kalinic, he had some space and everything, but again, nothing substantial, nothing that turned out to anything. And it's not like, and I know Sampdoria is a good side, but like we can't say they're a great side. And especially their defense, they had the great wall of Matthias Sylvester. I mean, we should have exposed Matthias Sylvester, and we didn't. We just, I don't know. I think Montella had the wrong mentality and the wrong lineup again on Sunday, and we'll get into that after. And like the fact that Zapata, the assist that he gave his freaking cousin Duvan Zapata is, it was just like, when they scored that, I didn't react. I just sat there and just stared at the screen. I didn't even know what to say. Like it was a perfect. It was like he assisted it to his Colombian cousin. Matt, what do you think? Like, what do you think about Zapata's error? That's a costly error because the game was still 0-0. We could have got one late. You don't know, right? What do you think?
I mean Zapata. He's always been one of those players that performs much better at the international level. We've seen that for
hmm
many years, and most people who obviously most Colombians would probably agree with that. Someone who play people who watch him very closely would probably say that the best football comes out of him when he's playing with that Colombian international shirt on. I, for one, have always maintained that Zapata has a strong or a good performance, if you will, um, once ever out of every 10 matches, I would say, where he looks pretty good and maybe he's good in the air. He's a little bit more fleet of foot than maybe a guy like Romagnoli, and some of those things come about when he does play well. But for me, that game against that was like a banter era like game for Milan in the back. When you really look at, he slipped there on the Ricky Alvarez goal. Alvarez just walks right by him and scores 22 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it was, after coming on for Sampdoria. It was honestly, and I think for me, when I saw that when Montella went with Zapata over Musacchio, who didn't play in that game against Spal the
Mm-hmm.
days earlier. I found that very confusing. I think I understood the fact that maybe he was looking to maybe rotate and keep guys fresh and all that stuff, but I mean, why not play Musacchio in that game in the Serie A where it means the most, and
Yeah.
then give Musacchio a rest against in the Europa League game
Yeah.
days later? I just didn't understand what he was doing, and I think honestly, I would have loved to be in the fly on the wall in that conversation that Fassone and Mirabelli and Montella were having yesterday, because they probably were saying we gave you this quality. These quality defenders, these quality players. What's going on? Why aren't you using Musaki, who didn't play and he's well rested and he's probably been our best defender because
Mm-hmm.
Romagnoli took some time to get back. Bonucci struggled a bit. Musacchio has really been Milan's best defender, I would say,
Yes.
since arriving. So for me to not play him and make him a must starter, I think you're really doing just a disservice to your entire team when you really look at how effective Musacchio can be. He's much quicker than the other two defenders. He's very technically strong, I would say, as well, from what I've seen early
Yeah.
on so far.
Very.
And
Very.
to me, I don't understand why you would go with a guy like Zapata and risk that. I think you Musacchio, Bonucci, and Romagnoli, that's going to be your three-man defense, and that's the defense you're going to be going to against the teams like Inter, Roma, Juve, and the like. So why not keep trying it, keep building that chemistry? I mean, I was just confused by that, but I wanted to give Montella the benefit of the doubt. Just for the simple fact that we should have been able to take control of a team like Sampdoria, though I rate quite well and probably highly than others. I think that was a game that Milan definitely should have been able to get a positive result out of and not lose 2-0. That's for sure.
Oh my. Well, I mean, it's just like, well, like the second goal was, and you know what, the fact that the second goal was another Zapata error too. He
Yeah, he
fell,
slipped.
flipped. Yeah. Um. So that was just, I mean, in all, a terrible game for Zapata in general. But like, he wasn't even that bad until the error. I never, like, I wasn't scared. You know what I mean? Like, it's just Zapata's again one of those players that, again, he's like Maldini with Colombia. It's weird.
Yeah,
I
he
watched him
plays.
for Colombia.
He's a completely different player, and then there's a lot of times where that happens because the guy, there's something about throwing on your country's shirt and representing your country that
Yeah.
tends to bring the most out of people. We've seen that many times, and some people have even said that same thing with De Rossi, and not comparing the two. Obviously, De Rossi's a much better player and has that longevity, but a lot of people see that where De Rossi, regardless of his age, regardless of the certain the noticeable slip in his play, when he throws on that Azzurro shirt, he just tends
Hmm.
to play better, and I think that could be
Yeah.
something where that's the case with Zapata. But
Yeah.
to make
Exactly.
making the slipping and all these different things, I think
Yeah.
it was just too much for me to handle at 7 o'clock at 7 o'clock in the
No.
morning.
Yeah. No, you're right. It was
It was
really
just too
bad.
much, man.
It was a waste of a wake up for sure. Um. And with Zapata too, it's weird because like every 6 games they'll play a really great match, like a really tight match, and then he'll come back and make that one little mistake, and it's the most costly one. And I
Absolutely.
don't know if you remember.
Again,
Oh, go ahead, go
to
ahead.
not to beat a dead horse, I just don't. I think it's clear that the Europa League group stages, all the playoff matches they did play already, and they went through with flying colors.
Mhm.
Those are the games you should be rotating. Those are the games that
Yeah,
Zapata should be playing. Those are the
Gustavo
games that
Gomez,
maybe you test Jose Mauri or you test
Zaniolato.
Calabria or Zapata, those types of players. And then when you
Hmm.
get to the Serie A games, because those are the games that mean the most, those are the
Yeah.
games you have to win in order to get back to the ultimate competition. That's the Champions League. So why would you sacrifice that by saying, well, we want to rotate and we want to keep guys fresh?
Hmm.
Sampdoria are no pushover either. They're a strong team. John Paolo's a fantastic coach, in my opinion. They
Hmm.
have a talented team, and not to mention they're at home, and that's a venue. The Marassi. That's a tough place for Milan.
It
I
is.
think
It is a
last year,
tough
if you
place.
recall, that was a game that Milan won early. It was an early fixture, but
One
that
nothing.
Baca came on and scored the winner late. But that's a tough venue for any team to play. And so to kind of rotate and use that opportunity, it doesn't make sense for me. I think if he would have put in Zapata in the Spal game, which I believe he did, and then maybe use Musacchio over Sampdoria, which is probably what he should have done, that would have been okay with me. But Sampdoria are a good team, and I think he underestimated, and he was one of those cases where, once again, similar to the game against Lazio, he got it wrong. And you saw a couple similar things there. Late substitutions, going the 77th minute or 55th minute in that Lazio game, the match was already over. He should have made the substitutions at halftime. And this is the same thing where clearly Milan and Montella's tactics, weren't enough to break down Sampdoria. They didn't press enough. They really let Sampdoria dictate the flow of the game and really bring the game to Milan. Once it was clear that Sampdoria were going to be difficult to break down, Montella should have went right to the bench, made the necessary adjustments, maybe switched formations, and ultimately went after the win. I think that's one of the concerns I do have with Montella is his in-game management and in-game decision making to really alter the flow of the game to get the results that they need. And I think that's something that's definitely going to be closely looked at over the next couple of weeks when we do have the game out against Roma and then of course Inter.
Yes, and here's the thing. So now, here's so the Sampdoria games in the past. Okay, let's just get rid of it. Whatever. It's and you know what? It just put a positive spin on it. Matt, say in August someone told you, okay, so Milan are going to win 4 of their first 6 Serie A games. Would you say, okay, I'll take that? Would you say that?
Absolutely, and I think I guess that's the silver lining to take from it. But I think the one issue that I do have with this is that yes, it's 4 out of 6. It's 12 points. It's good. It's they're right there in the top 6 right now, and they haven't really hit their peak form yet. So I understand that's fine, but I think again when you have that much talent, these are the games I just hate losing games and dropping points to teams that they should be handling much better. And the Lazio game, that's a one-off. That's a one-off because Lazio are a very good team, and they're certainly going to be in competition for one of those top 4 spots. Exactly.
It was a 4-1 game. Immobile, though. It was the individual brilliance of Immobile.
Right. Absolutely. I'm not saying that. I think I'm not going to say that Lazio, that's a must-win game. That should be a no-brainer, 3 points. I'm not saying that. But I think it's more of the fact in the way you lose and the way you drop points. It's not so much, we lost points where we lost the game. You're losing 4-1 to Lazio.
Yeah.
Right. That's when Montella that was just a piss poor game. Let's call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the Sampdoria game. I think the Sampdoria game, those are points that most Milan fans would agree that they should have. They should have been at least a draw, or at least obviously the more desired result and the more hungrier result would have been the victory. And that's what kind of irks me because the teams like Juve, the teams like Roma, Napoli, what they do so well is they take advantage of the softer opponents because they know that's what's going to make or break whether they win the Scudetto or whether they finish top 3 or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Juve's doing. People are going to say, oh, Juve, but yeah, Dybala scoring against Sassuolo and all these different teams. But you know what, though? They're handling their business. They're taking care of business, and they're taking care of the teams they should be taking care of. And that's what I think I want to see from Milan is that mentality adjustment against these teams. This is not the older Milan of the past couple of years where, every game is going to be difficult. You go into a team like Sampdoria, you go into a venue like Sampdoria, you go in them and you dictate the game. You bring the game to them. You don't let them come in. You don't let them sit back and say, they're Milan. We don't care. We don't care who they are. You bring the game. Get an early goal. Easier said than done, of course, because, again, I do like Sampdoria. But that's what I want to see. I want to see that mentality change. Those early goals to put games and put teams away early and really make it easier on your team. And we're not seeing that. Even against Spal. 2 penalties. We won the game. We really weren't tested as much. But I want to see more convincing results. I want to see more convincing and just hammering teams. And that's being selfish of me because, again, we have 4 wins in 6 games. But that's what I want to see is that killer mentality, that killer instinct that we're seeing with Juve and even, at times with Napoli. They're hammering and battering teams that they should be battering because that's going to ultimately decide who wins the league and who finishes in the top 4.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. You're right. And just, I don't know. Yeah, like you do. There's silver lining, and there's positive, there's negatives, right? So basically, like what it is that now after losing Sampdoria, so we beat Crotone, we beat Cagliari, we beat Spal, we beat Udinese. We lost to Lazio away, and we lost to Sampdoria away. So. We're taking care of business at the San Siro, which is always good because we need the win games at home, it has to be a Sensi, it has to be a fortress. So again,
Right.
another positive. But however, to separate yourself from the top four, from the other guys, from the other teams competing for the top four, you have to beat the smaller team. You can't drop points to the smaller teams. Ask Napoli and Roma how their Scudetto chances have been over the past few years. They always drop 1 or 2 games to a small team. I remember like last season, Napoli, they tied Palermo. Like just and then if they win that game,
And
you know
that
what I
wound up
mean?
hurting them. And that wound
Yeah,
up hurting them.
yeah,
Again, I'm
exactly.
not saying
And
that
Roma too.
Sampdoria is at that level. I think a Sampdoria are a
No,
team that could
no,
finish in the Europa League, positioning.
no.
But
Yeah,
what I'm saying is that you just hate for these results to come back and bite you in the what, because you know for a fact that top four race, it's going to be very tight. I mean, you can basically I can say with confidence, Juve, Roma, Napoli, I'm going to say Inter are going to be chasing top four, although I'm not quite convinced that they're as
no,
good as
they're
they've been
not.
playing.
They're not.
Um,
Yeah, they're not for
but
sure.
that's the thing. These are the games Milan have had. They've been given an early, a lighter or softer schedule, a favorable schedule to start the season, and that's where I really want to see them use that lighter schedule to build a chemistry, to get maximum points, so that when they get into those difficult matches, everything's intact. They're in the right form. They're in the right state of mind, and they can go at teams and play and finally brush away the whole, they got to adapt still. There's a bunch of new teams, another bunch of new players. No. The honeymoon phase was over once they lost to Lazio.
Mm-hmm.
Now you need to start playing results. You need to start playing Bonucci. You need to start playing well. You need to start being you're the captain now.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm to use that. What was that Tom Hanks movie? But I forgot what it was called. Look at me. I'm the captain now. He has to take that leadership role, and he has to play much better. I love him as a player. I think he's got this all the leadership qualities and everything like that. But he's going to be under a microscope. The banter will come from Juventus fans, from everyone across Serie A, that if he doesn't play well, he's going to hear it. That's what comes along with wearing the armband for Milan in a big club. So he needs to prove, and he needs to play better. It's just that simple, and I think it will happen. And I think this is where, again, these upcoming fixtures against Roma and Inter, he really does need to rise to the occasion and really just play to his
Yeah,
potential.
you're right. No, it's just he's been hungrier than ever, but he can't be more. He's been kind of average than ever. I mean, I'm not. No, but let's be serious here. I don't blame him for either goal against them.
No.
It's
Absolutely.
It was individual crap.
It's. I mean, defending is a little bit of a different breed. It's in a different situation, in the sense that you're. If I'm a defender and I'm looking to my left or I'm looking to my right, that's also going to play a role in my decision making at that very moment.
Of course,
when you and that's why I say when you have to have Musacchio in there, because Musacchio is just a much more stable and more consistent player than Zapata is. When you have to always look to your right and look to your left, and you have to see, I got Zapata there, so I may have to maybe drift over to assist or to keep that area clogged up. That's what tends to happen, and I think it just all it takes is a split second and a lack of judgment and a loss of your marker, and there you have it. We saw it against Lazio, where Bonucci was in the box and he was ball watching, and then he looked back and the guy was free and he headed it in. So that's what's thing, and again, that's up to Montella, and Montella better get that ironed out soon and over the next couple of weeks, because if he drops points or he doesn't feel the team that's capable of winning or getting a positive result against Roma and Inter, he's going to be on the hotter seat, because right now he's already on the hot seat, if you ask most Milan fans.
Yeah, and I know he's the captain, and Bonucci is one of the best defenders in the world, and this is not going to change that. But it's just he has to play better, than he has. And again, he's not playing bad either. Just and
he's capable of more. He's capable of more.
He's capable of more.
These performances are so uncharacteristic of him that it's like, what's going on? It's so noticeable, but because it's like Bonucci's never played like this. He's never had these noticeable, lack of judgment in terms of where to be. These weird errors and stuff like that. I don't think that's a whole. He's not playing alongside Chiellini, Barzagli. I don't think that's the case. I think he himself is trying to adjust, and he's trying to perhaps make up for some certain holes that are in the defense that are still occurring that need to be ironed out. But Musacchio has to start. That it has to be Musacchio, Bonucci, and Romagnoli in the Serie A. Provided that someone needs to be spelled a breather. But in any big game situation, in any Serie A game, for the most part, those three have to start. There's just no question about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. We have a question in the live chat from Nicholas. In your opinion, what is our best starting lineup? What formation, 11 players you'd start? So I'll start, and then you can answer it too. So I said in my one article yesterday I wrote for Time Football Daily. I really think Montella should consider a switch to a 3-4-3 formation. That being said, so I have Donnarumma with Musacchio, Bonucci, Romagnoli, and those three, especially in a big Serie A game. We can't have Zapata starting over Musacchio anymore. Anyways, so we got those three at the back with Ignazio Abati. Unfortunately, Andrea Conti still injured for quite some time, so he's out on the right wing back. But it's gonna be Abate with Lucas Biglia, Frank Kessie, kind of like a double pivot in the midfield. With Ricardo Rodriguez left wing back, and then as a three up top, well, you have a little bit of options. You have you can either go with Bonaventura at left wing, which would be my preferred player there. Bonaventura at left wing with Andre Silva leading the line and Suso on the right. Or, just to switch it up, you can put Çalhanoğlu on the left with Nikola Kalinic leading the line. And then I guess we don't really have a backup for Suso. I guess Borini would be backup for Suso. But Borini would be more of a Europa League or a Coppa Italia option. So that's mine, a 3-4-3, Nick. I wish Montella might, because you know why I say that, because Bonaventura can play left wing. I mean, he can. We've seen it. He's good, and Suso's his best out wide. So that's what I think. Matt, what do you think to answer Nick's question? What's your 11 information?
I think for the most part, I'm gonna piggyback what you said about the 3-4-3. I think that's definitely an option. I still think there is potential in the 3-5-2, but the problem is you really just don't. With that formation, you can't place Suso, one of your best and more technically gifted players from last year, and I think on the current roster, obviously as well. You can't. That formation doesn't really suit him, and I think when you have a player of his caliber, you got to find a way to get a formation that suits him and can really maximize his ability, right? So, if a 3-5-2, you can't play him at wing back because I don't think he has that defensive effort and that defensive work rate which that wing back role requires. I would say 3-4-3, like as you just mentioned, or you can try something like a 3-4-1-2. It sounds a little weird and it sounds similar to a 3-4-3, but I think that's something that you can revert to back and forth. So let's say you have the same defense like you just mentioned: Musacchio, Bonucci, Romagnoli, Abate, Biglia, Kessie, and Bonaventura, right? So that's your 3-4. That one role can be either Suso. You can try him as a number 10, not as a second striker. As a number 10, he can drift that wide to the right, drift that left, drift into pull and drop into the midfield to help with the build-up, things like that. And then you can have two strikers. You can maybe have Silva Kajanic. You can have Cutrone Kajanic, Cutrone Silva. You can mix around with it a little bit. But 3-4-3, 3-4-1-2 would probably be the formations I'd go for with Milan.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You can also go with a 3-4-2-1 too, which is also kind of like a
3-4-2-1, 3-4-1-2. Those can be switched. But I think it's worth noting that I think a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2 would really be able to get Çalhanoğlu on the field, who I really do like, and I think he brings a lot of creativity to this team. So that's a guy I do want to see more, and I think those are two formations that can really get Suso on the field, obviously, but also get Çalhanoğlu in the mix as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just I don't know, and it's hard. Like we all like to see Bonaventura, Çalhanoğlu, and Suso on the field at the same time, but I don't think it's really possible. It's kind of an overkill.
I think in the 3-5-2, I don't. For me personally, just from what I've seen, recently against specifically the game against Sampdoria. In the 3-5-2, it just Bonaventura. It just doesn't. He doesn't fit. I feel like he just looks like an extra midfielder there.
Oh,
You tell me what you feel on that. But when you look at the 3-5-2, you can see the 5 midfielders. You can see the 2 wing backs. They make sense. You got Rodriguez, you got Abate, you got Kessie, you got Bilia. But where does Jack fit? Is he a box-to-box player? Is he someone who's going to be just there to pass? You don't know what type of role he plays in that 3-5-2, right? Because all these years, the past couple of years since he arrived at Milan, he's been either a left winger or as a side midfielder, mezzala. So that's what I really want to see. And I think again, like we were just saying, a 3-4-3 would be something where you can plug him in as a left winger if you needed to get him in a more comfortable role where we can see his qualities play out.
Yeah. There's some breaking news. Montella just tweeted a big thing. I think it's worth noting. Let's see. So Montella just tweeted. Yeah, he never tweets. He just tweeted, ripartenza Milan. Ho pensato a lungo su come portiamo della preparazione atletica. So basically, like, just like to translate that, my best translation would be like we're gonna restart. Like I thought long and how to raise our intensity or raise the bar or something like that. And then he said it, and then on the last part, portiamo della preparazione atletica, we start from the athletic training. So, and he released this huge, like, it's a picture of him with a huge quote. So he said, so basically in the quote, he's saying, like, after, let me read it first. Ho fatto la mia prima preparazione tra la rinviamento into, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, basically he just posted a picture with himself and just kind of said, we're going to start from training and stuff like that. And, we're, what do you say? Yeah, so that's basically it. I mean, it's a little bit longer, but, yeah, basically he just said that we have to keep going. We have to restart, and we have to go on. It all starts from his training sessions. So, I don't know. I think he might have fired his assistant coach. I'm not really sure. Because this guy just says he fires coach. No, I don't think so. I think he's just saying.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't know. But he said that he's with. So he's with Emmanuel Mata. I think he's the assistant coach, right? Emmanuel Mata. I don't know. He's his new assistant coach this year. I think he's working with him or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it after. But, and then in the live chat, Yazan saying that he still believes in him, and raise the athletic bar. So that's what it said. And I don't know. I got Montella never tweets, so that's really weird.
Yeah, it is pretty weird. That's why I was kind of confused. I didn't know if that was on Facebook Live. If that was just maybe a quote from Rye or one of the sources out of Italy. But that's actually interesting that he actually tweeted something out, which I think it's good. I think that's also part of the whole culture switch at Milan with the new ownership. It's the transparency, the willingness to respond to criticism in certain ways and certain things like that. We saw what Fassone said after the loss to Sampdoria. He's pretty much saying we can't tolerate this type of performance and all these different things. So that's what I want to see. I don't want to see this whole sweeping it under the rug and but we'll play the next game. I want to see a little bit more of an intense team and a little bit more motivated and determined team. And I think, again, to Montella's point, that starts in training. That starts with your approach to training, and starts with your approach to, your preparation for certain games and things like that.
Okay, so he did fire. He fired his him and the. So I just read the whole thing. Oh, and now he just posted an English version of it. I just read the whole thing in Italian. I finally translated it. It's like I did my best. So he said, so he didn't find an agreement with his assistant Emmanuel Mata, So they're going to part ways. So they parted ways with. So in English, after careful consideration, I made my decision. I consider physical preparation to be among the areas where improvements can be made. I have decided to start a new physical preparation plan for which I haven't found full agreement with my assistant, the athletic trainer Emmanuel Mata. It is with heavy heart that together with Emmanuel we have decided to part ways. I take this opportunity to thank him for the work done together over these years. So he
well,
basically,
we'll see. That's kind of a wake up call, though, right? Is it not? I mean, yes, I think now, but see, these are things you look at now because you look at, the certain things that have been maybe affecting the gameplay and the style of play on the field. So right now you look at this, it's kind of like, okay, well, the leash is going to be short. The leash is going to be short because there's a lot invested in a lot riding on this season. So, I mean, listen, who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows what goes down at training. We don't know what the training plan is and all those different things. But hopefully this is something, maybe that alters the mentality and alters the overall performance on the field. Let's see.
Yeah. That's wow. That's that's a little weird. You know what I mean? It's a bit odd. You never really have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen
not this early?
Have you ever seen a coach just
unless there's like a noticeable in a publicized rift between someone on the staff and the coach that now they parted ways. This kind of came out of left field, but maybe they kept it behind closed doors, and maybe that was some of the conversation that Montella had with Fasone and Mirabelli. Maybe he was speaking to the what's going on in training and the preparation and all these different things, and maybe that's where they agreed to part ways. So who knows?
Yeah, and a lot of fans are saying that Montella's blaming his coaches and stuff now on Twitter right now. He's blaming his other coaches other than himself. I don't think he's doing that. I think he's just saying that basically they just didn't find an agreement.
Yeah, I don't understand why fans. I'm not gonna comment on that. I mean that's a little bit ridiculous. We didn't hear anything post match. Montella saying we didn't prepare the right way. Physically we weren't up for the task. Anything like that. So I think Milan fans again. I think that's a little much. Saying that he's putting his staff under the bus. That's not the case.
No, I think he's just saying that like
they didn't agree on certain things.
Yeah, they didn't agree on
that's fair. Like
I think unless Montella said, okay, for now on we have to start doing this, and he said no, we shouldn't do that, and it's like, you know what? Because I guess Montella, you know what? I actually kind of like his initiative because now he's trying to change stuff up. He's not just going to he's not keeping the same old average thing. He's going to try to change.
And he's got to do it soon, right? Because he can't do it 2 days before the game against Roma.
No, why not? So he's going to do it now. He's going to do it now. Hopefully, we don't see a too good of a lineup against Rekja on Thursday. In the Europa League, we play at Sampdoria.
Listen, man. I honestly, for this game, I wouldn't even mind seeing Tay Wo come back. I wouldn't even mind seeing freaking Hachi Mastor play.
Actually, he's done now officially.
Really?
Yeah, Matteo Bonatti tweeted yesterday. He's officially a free agent now.
Yeah, he's
crap.
Yeah, I wrote an article on him. This is my plug on him. I'll actually share with you guys if whoever wants to read it and didn't see it. I wrote an extensive article for These Football Times, I think a month or 2 months ago on Mastor and everything like that. So if you want, I'll replug that after I get off the air with Luca here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that article, and he Mastor was a major YouTube merchant. He would do some skill moves on YouTube, and he was an Instagram merchant too. Did you follow him?
I do follow him. I feel like he plays a lot of NBA 2K. I mean,
he does play. He does. I unfollowed him a long time ago, but he posts pictures of him doing random stuff, and then he tweeted he put on his Instagram story a few weeks ago. Listen to this. He put training sacrifice, and everybody's like, "You're sacrificing going to training." What?
Yeah, I don't.
He was at Milan Outlaw, and he was like, "Sacrifice training." It's wow, what a poor life you live. You have to go train today to play football.
Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, and it's like, and you don't even play in the game. All you do is kick a ball about on the field.
So what
That's
else?
really
What else you want to chat about, Luca?
yeah. You almost are out of time.
No, I'm putting off lunch for a bit. So if you want to
Okay,
chat a little
okay.
bit more, I definitely could do that.
So yeah. So Jared A said a bad time, but he's trying to prepare things. That's a good point about Montella. He's just trying to change things. Okay, so let's do a last thing here, and we'll talk about it for a bit, and then we'll end it off. Would you? Okay, here. So let's talk about the next two games. Massive matches, massive fixtures. We have Roma at the Stadio Olimpico, and we have Inter at the San Siro. What do you think?
What do I think? I think they got to get their together quick. And this game in the Europa League is really not going to really tell me much of anything, to be honest with you. If they beat this team 4-5-0, I don't care, to be honest. Yes, obviously I'm excited and I'm happy when my team wins, but my focus and most Milan fans' focus is resting in the Serie A, and specifically these next 2 weeks. The Roma game is going to be tough. Roma are a good team.
We never
Let's
win
face it. And the Stadio Olimpico is a tough environment to play in.
We never win there. We never win at the Olympic.
Yeah, it's always a difficult task
Mm-hmm.
for us. I mean, let's pin that on the banter era and just some of the god awful players that have been gracing the Rossonero the past couple of years. But that's beside the point. I think I just want to see Montella get it right from the beginning, and I want to see him manage the game. When things aren't going properly and going according to plan, I want to see him make the changes necessary. Because to me, if I see a team that, they feel the proper formation, I feel confident in the formation. Most of the fan base feels confident in the formation. But, maybe they lose 2-1 or they draw 1-1. Maybe they didn't capitalize on a couple of their chances, but they played a good game. I want to see the performances. I want to see the performance with the result, not just the result and performance they barely skimmed by. It's got to be an entire effort that is convincing to me and the fans. And, I want to see Montella get it right tactically. I want to see him pull the right strings in the game when things aren't going correctly. I'm going to be looking for specifically over the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
These are pivotal games. Obviously, everyone knows that. They've been circled on the calendar since the schedule came out.
Of course.
But that's what I'm looking for. I want to see this team. I want to see a mentality switch in bigger games. Really the only big game that Milan have played is against Lazio, and they looked, excuse my language, but that's I'm calling it what it is. I want to see a change here, and I want to see a mentality switch in these bigger games, and I hope that we do see it over the next couple of weeks, starting with Roma this weekend, of course.
But here's a follow-up question. If Montella loses against Roma and loses against Inter, is it time for Montella out? I think yes. If you lose
listen, I'm gonna say yes too, but I don't like to think. If he loses? Here's my thing: I can agree with you on that. I can agree with you on yes, he lost 2 big games. He's losing to big teams with all these big money players. I can get that. I can get the Montella out stance on that. But who do you bring in?
No,
who do you bring
right.
in to steady the ship with a bunch of expensive players this early in the season? Who's got to completely alter the tactics, completely get the entire fan base on board, and to get stop the bleeding and stop the worrying. Who do you get in? You're not bringing in Walter Mazzarri because that ain't going to do anything for me. You're not going to bring in Frank de Boer. Who are you bringing in? Pioli? Who are you bringing in? Not getting Conte.
Conte next summer?
Next summer, though.
Next summer,
if they don't qualify for if they don't finish top 4, Luca, the next summer, Conte ain't coming. He ain't going to come coach a team that's in 7th.
Yeah, and
then they got to blow up the entire squad because they can't.
Actually, you know what though, Matt? You do realize the year that Conte, when it came into Chelsea, they finished 10th place that year when he came in.
Yes,
maybe I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I understand that. I'm fully aware of that, but I think you can't bank on that because you can't be like, oh well, if they finish 6th or 7th, Conte may still come because it's Milan. Not necessarily the case. And I don't want it to get to that. I want to give Montella the proper chance, and I really do back Montella. I'm not Montella out yet.
No,
again, over
I'm
the
not really
next
either.
couple weeks. It could change depending on the results. But for me, if you're going to fire a coach, that's fine. If that's
You have
the
to have a
decision you feel like
replacement,
you need
though.
to make. But who you're replacing him with is as equally as
Is
important.
it
And that's going to
Gattuso?
be under a
Is it
microscope the
Gattuso?
entire year.
Gattuso? Bring him up
No,
already?
no, no,
Imagine
no,
that.
no, no,
Imagine
no.
that, though.
Absolutely. No. You can't
Unless
do that. You
unless
can't
we
do that.
unless we bring up we bring back like Capello or something like that, someone like an older
Oh,
guy.
man. Come on.
That's what I
Really?
tweeted. I said unless we bring back an older guy who like doesn't have a job right now, that's the only thing that I can think of for a replacement.
And that's my issue. That's my issue is that you gave Montella the extension that in my opinion, he deserved last summer. He got it.
Yeah.
He deserved that. And I'll shout it from the rooftops. I'll shout it. He deserved it because
It did, for sure.
He turned water into wine with a really bang
Crap
average team last year.
Oh my god, yeah.
So listen, if you're gonna fire a coach this early in the season, you better be damn sure the guy you're bringing in can help you get to the goal and reach the goal and obtain the objective that you set out for.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this is gonna be a big issue come next summer when you're looking for other coaches, when you're looking for players, looking to keep players. Donnarumma maybe, Suso, whoever. So that's my point, is that you tread lightly when you do consider Montella out. Who you're bringing in is more as equally as important.
I don't think we're gonna. I think we'll beat Roma next week. I don't think we're gonna lose. I don't think we're gonna lose 2-3 more games. I think we got our wake up call already. I think I think we're gonna win. I don't think we're gonna lose more games. There's no way. I don't think we're. I just can't see it. And if we do, if we do lose. Against Roma,
I guess we'll have another. We'll tease. We're going to tease here. I guess we'll maybe have another chat about that in 2 weeks.
We're gonna
How
have
does that sound? You want to speak again in 2 weeks?
Yeah, of course. No, 3 weeks of the international break.
3 weeks. Okay. So after the let's put this in your calendar or whatever. Mark this down. Who's ever listening?
Mark it in your calendar, lad.
And after the Inter game, after the derby,
TMG.
we are gonna have another chat. We're gonna speak again, and we're gonna see where we're at that point. But right now, let's just hope that Montella and uses this time to iron out the kinks, get everything back on track, and we prepare ourselves for the Europa League game, but of course, more importantly, the game on this weekend against Roma.
And remember, after that Inter game too, we play Juve 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get any easier, and we have to beat some of these teams. We have to pick up points. You know what? Even if we get a draw from Roma and beat Inter, that's good. That's good too. Because it's hard to get a draw from Roma at the Olympico, but we don't go with a mentality to draw. You go to win. And hopefully we pick our best lineup and we don't see Zapata, because if we see Musacchio tomorrow on Thursday and we don't see him on Sunday, that's a very ridiculous decision. And especially because he hasn't played in a while, he has to be.
Unless it's a fitness issue, unless he's injured, unless there's maybe he has a slight he picked up something in training. There's nothing. There's nothing. That's what blows my mind. Like, I don't understand that you can have a guy who's ready to go defender, who's been playing well, and obviously he knows how to defend much better than Zapata. Play the guy. Play him in the games that have meaning. Don't play him against whoever takes this as racist, the farmers. All right,
the farmers.
Don't play him in those games.
That obsession.
No, and this is not even a jab. We don't want the main goal is not Europa League. I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
As a Milan fan, I want to finish top 4. I want to make the Champions League. I don't care about these games right now.
No,
early.
And I mean, if it gets to that point that we're succeeding in Europa League and we're not seeing in the lead,
then we explore it. That's what United did. That's what United did last year. When it was clear that they probably wouldn't finish top 4 and they make the Champions League through that route.
They just cared about Europa League.
They were saying, hey, well, our next best route in, and I think even Mourinho hinted, he spoke on this. He said, well, okay, well, our Europa League, we want to win the Europa League title because that's our path into the Champions League.
Yeah,
fair point. But we're not talking about that now in late September.
Not even October yet.
Yeah, come on.
And people got to remember that Milan in the first month, from August to December, August to January till Bonaventura got injured. We were fighting for top 3, and then everything went down. So we can turn this around in 2 weeks. And let's not get too hasty either. We have 4 wins and 2 losses. It's not terrible. We're still right there on the table. We're not 10th or anything. We don't have 1 win, 5 losses, or 2 win, 3 losses. It's 4. We're 4-2. And that was the first game against Sampdoria. We haven't scored a goal since last January or something like that. We've always scored a goal in City. Yeah, it was the first time we got shut out. And since last February or January. So I think we just gotta relax a little bit. Win the Europa League. Have a little bit of a squad rotation on Thursday. I don't see why he doesn't use these guys like Gustavo Gomez and stuff. Who cares? Just use them. Like I guarantee they'll be fine. I don't care. You put Donnarumma and put Antonio. I don't care. I don't care with the goalie that much. But we have to start. Montella has to realize he has to manage players in a certain way when playing in competition. Then when the Coppa Italia starts too, he has to really put a nice squad rotation in there. So yeah, that's my thought. I think we're gonna wrap things up. I think see any questions in the live chat. Jared saying that the Europa League is pretty easy, it's pretty straightforward to the quarterfinals if we play well.
Or like the round of 16, that's when you start getting opponents where you really can't take them lightly. But these group stage matches, I mean, come on. Like, is anybody really expecting Milan to, oh man, they're going to struggle against this team or that team? They should handle every team that they play with the squad they have, up until that round of 16.
Exactly. And
absolutely. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm. That's the mentality you have to have. And again, we're Milan. We don't need to just rely on Europa League now. We need to win in City A first. And if it comes to that point in February, March, April, okay, then it comes to that point. Whatever. Just that's how it is. But right now, we just focus on winning, and we have to win these 2 big games coming up in City A.
Absolutely.
Yes, we're going to end things off, guys. I appreciate everybody in the live chat, everybody asking questions about that. We really love when you guys listen in and ask questions and engage. We're really growing this podcast, and we're going to try to keep it as consistent as possible. And like Santa said, hopefully we have a little. I'll bring Santa back on in a few weeks. Hopefully after we win the Olympico and we win Derby de Molina. Santa, it was always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Luca. Look forward to chatting with you soon.
Of course, no worries. And now we can enjoy some neutral Champions League football and Europa League on Thursday. Guys, thanks again for listening. Really appreciate it. The 13th episode. And with that, I say ciao. Ciao ragazzi. Ciao, Matt.